The brave days of old. Now I want to tell you a story of long ago, 73 years ago, when the world was young and dinosaurs walked upon it. For I, with my friend Derek Poulton, this is where our great hunting ground was of the Sioux Indians, known today as Native Americans. And it was here we played. And I'm reminded of the advert, if you leave your children to their own devices, then they may never leave their devices. And these were our devices in those good old days, in those brave days of old. So this is Habberley Valley, and I hope you enjoy my story. The date today is the 26th of July in the year 2020. We're still in the grip of the coronavirus, so I've come out today to tell you this tale. A tale of heroics, if you like, for we small boys of 8 years of age. This was our playground, Habberley Valley. Now in those days of 72, 77 years ago, the only occupation we had apart from a school and work was to go to the cinema at the Empire Cinema, the cheapest cinema in Kidderminster, which was known as the Threepenny Crush, threepence being the equivalent of 1.5p today. And here we would go into the cinema and see the cowboys and the Indians, and of course the big science film, which was Flash Gordon and the Terrible Ming. And it was here that we became, either in the cinema, either unruly cowboys shooting each other with their imaginary pistols, or we became Indians. And Derek and I became the Indians. So Habberley Valley became Sioux Indian country, where we put our feathers in our hair and we made our bows and arrows. We made our camps and our little campfires, and we learned about nature, the birds and the bees and the cigarette trees, although we didn't smoke at that age. But we learned a lot about nature. For example, that is ragwort, which the cattle won't eat while it's green, but when it's dried and gets mixed up with the hay, is poisonous to cattle. So you pull it up where you can, but they haven't bothered here because there's no cattle. Habberley Valley was our happy hunting ground, where the deer and the antelope played. And here we have it, the famous Peckett's Rock. This was their headquarters on the top of it, and you can see those people there. Well, just to their left is what was called the Devil's Armchair. Getting into that was a dare, but getting out of it, back onto the top, was almost impossible for 8-year-old children. I think Derek did it, but I didn't. We will see Peckett's Rock later. Yes, we made camps We pulled up ferns and draped them over low-lying branches of a tree and put ferns inside as a bed. We had our matches. We brought some army mess tins, and we brought flour and salt. And there used to be a little stream here once upon a time, and from that we collected water and made what we called flapjacks. Flour and water and salt. And it's raining now. And we would put these onto hot stones on a fire and make them into little cakes. They were horrid, but it doesn't matter. We were hungry in those days, and we could eat anything. And if your mother stopped still long enough, you'd have probably had her, because we were so hungry in 1943, the height of the U-boat war, when Britain had 10 days before starvation set in. The Devil's Armchair. Say cheese, look at these lovely flowers this little girl has taken. Look at that. And she's gone all shy on me because, oh, that's it. But they picked some nice flowers from Habberley Valley.
Yeah?
Say yeah.
Say yes, Selena.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
This is the base of Peckett's Rock, where people have left their names to be remembered forever, whoever they may be. There's a recent one, 2017, or was it 1970? But these are the footprints people have made and slowly wore the rock away as they climbed up to the top. And I will try to ascend it again. Yeah, I've discovered that at 85 it ain't quite as easy it was when I was 8, but we'll plod onwards and upwards to the top. You can see all the footmarks where people have gone up following the same trail, cutting into this Worcestershire sandstone outcrop. There's another one in the rifle range called the Devil's Spitful, and the story for that goes, and I'll pan around while I'm talking, is that a long time ago the Catholics were very prominent in Bewdley, and the devil was come, or was it the Protestants, and the devil came to block up the river so the river flooded and Bewdley and all the people in it would be killed. And it's getting late at night, and the devil's got this spadeful of rock which he's going to dump into the mighty River Severn at Bewdley. And he meets a cobbler on the way. Fortunately, the cobbler recognises he's the devil. So when the devil says to the cobbler, "How far is it to Bewdley?" the cobbler opens his bag and brings out all his old shoes waiting to be repaired and said, "I've worn all these shoes out coming from Bewdley." And so the devil dumps his rock in what is now the rifle range at Kidderminster, and it's been there ever since, and Bewdley has been saved. Did you like that story? Stories of long ago and probably long forgotten. Chris and Steve. Richard for Don. Was it Donna? I hope it wasn't Don. But they will be remembered as long as this rock lasts. Habberley Valley, a great place for a picnic. And here we are looking over the valley itself, and down there, oops, down there is the Devil's Armchair, and obviously somebody's got down there, but you can see it's quite easy to fall in down there, but how do you get out? And the sun's out, and at 85 I shouldn't be up here because I'm wobbly. Well, this is the easy bit, getting up. Now I've got to try the bit going down. There used to be a tree on Peckett's Rock, and 77 years ago, me and Derek caught the Chance brothers, and they were definitely cowboys. And we caught them up on Peckett's Rock, so we strung them up on that tree, which is no longer there. And in great respect to health and safety, we lit a fire under their feet. But they didn't blame us because they were cowboys and we were Indians. Yes, so you could make a camp here, get a fire going, and bake your flapjacks. And drink your water, because we had no tea. Come with me and we'll all go see. We're going to find Jacob's ladder. The ladder that Jacob used to climb to get to heaven. Down in the valley where nobody goes, there lies Louise and Claire with no clothes. It was a song I learnt when I was about 5 years of age at school. You put your girlfriend's name to it. So you're all right, Claire. I've had me day. Met these girls in Habberley Valley and I was teaching them all about it. There you are. Happy days, girls.
Thank you very much.
See you again.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
This is Jacob's ladder. God, it's completely overgrown. I've cut my way through here, and that's it. And this is what I'm in, hanging on to a fern by the skin of my teeth. This is what I've cut my way into. Determined to find Jacob's ladder, which I believe few, that was a dare, few actually climbed it. I know I didn't. I tried, and it was a big drop if you missed it. Yeah, that's what I came up through, and I've got to go back. But it's something to do on a nice day in Habberley Valley. I was hoping to find a better place, but unfortunately you can just see one of the tops of it through the trees. I could climb no more. It was all downhill from now on for me. I'm going to go and find a bit of nature. This, I suspect, is a cherry tree, but I'm pretty certain it's a cherry tree. So there's no cherries on, probably because the birds get here pretty quick. As soon as they go red, the birds are here like a shot. Over there, whoops, over there. Well, there's an oak tree. You can tell that by its nice leaves. And it's a young one. Come back in 400 years and he'll still be growing. Over here is a sweet chestnut. Now these you pick in November, and you need a stick to bring them down. Something health and safety doesn't like. But that's a sweet chestnut. Not to be confused with the horse chestnut, which you can't eat, and it's a different leaf. And this, of course, is a silver birch. And you know why it's called silver? Because its birch is silver. Yes, in those brave days of old, we were hungry. Britain was nearly starving, so we hunted rabbits here and pheasants. I can't find any rabbit runs, and I can't find any rabbit poo. So I don't think there's many rabbits left in Habberley Valley, since they brought in from Australia myxomatosis, a disease that killed off bunny rabbits. Derek could tittle trout, I couldn't. We used to go to the foxholes. There's a stream there and tittle trout, or Derek did. I used to go dabbing in the Severn with a real fly on the end of a hook on a pole, and just dab it on the water so it rippled, and the fish would come up to see what it was the first time. Then he'd go down and then come up again with a rush and take me fly on the end of a real hook. There's the top of whatever it's called, Jacob's Ladder. Blackberries, but they're a bit early. Nevertheless, they're beginning to, this is what, July, the end of July, beginning of August. But they were a feast for us youngsters in those days. And here is a, whatever it is, yeah, a honeysuckle growing amongst the blackberries. Sweet smelling honeysuckle. And we mustn't forget the fungus. We picked mushrooms in September, end of September. Chestnuts were in November. And I don't know about that one. I know me mushrooms, but that's one I wouldn't like to eat. But I think you'd have to boil it first to get rid of whatever poison or toxins are in it. Yeah, there's a better view of Jacob's Ladder. And as I said, it was quite a climb, but I can't remember any climbing it. But there you are. So I did find it after all, though I couldn't get to it. Yes, a better view of Peckett's Rock and the Devil's Armchair. The Devil's Armchair is the bit that sticks out, and you've got to climb over the top and drop down into it. There you are, people playing with their motorised cars. I can't find them. I came across a campsite. So we're not all computers after all. Here's his little pile of logs for his fire. And I suspect that log could be his pillow. Now the question is this a hobo's hideout? But it's cosy. Enough ferns on the roof and you can keep the water out. Or at least most of it. Well, say. And here I am on top of another rock. Or another, I don't know what it is. It's a mound. It was on that hill that I made a camp for Claudia back in what, 1975? I remember it well. Amazing how your memory still works. So here we are, still in Habberley Valley. It's time to go home. So one last pan. I would like to find more flora and fauna, more rabbits, more wildlife, but there isn't much to be had. But it's a pleasant place, and my Auntie May used to bring me here when I was about 5 for picnics. I believe those are forget-me-nots, and these are Scottish thistles, and of course we have the glorious ragwort in all its glory, but poisonous when dried or when eaten. With the going down of the sun, we remember. This was Indian country. No cowboys were allowed, because we had our chums here. Mind you, if the cowboys were bigger than us, then we probably let them in. Big boys, big boys that is bigger than us at 8 years of age. So it was 130 years, I think, after General Custer got wiped out by the Sioux Indians in 1876. Or was it more than that? I went to America to a powwow of Indians on a reservation in North Carolina, I can't think what it was. But anyway, it was a reservation. And there I met all these Indians who were doing a powwow, which was a get-together, a meeting of the families where they all walked about and chatted, talked about those that had died and those that were young and those that were chasing or trying to find a girlfriend. And there was one young man that really impressed me with his efforts to show his skills in dancing on the powwow square. And then I went to the Cody Museum in the city of Cody, named after Buffalo Bill Cody. And there on the wall was a picture of Buffalo Bill going up to heaven and all the children's waving him goodbye. And what does it say? I can't read it. And they're shaking Buffalo Bill's hand. And I cried when I saw that, because that was me and Derek. And there's Buffalo Bill shaking hands with all those youngsters. He died in 1917. The First World War was well in its whatever it was, first wars do. It is full venom. And here was Buffalo Bill and the cowboys all going off to heaven into the never land that we'll never see again, thanks to computers and television. So I hope you like that story. Thank you very much. And in the night of winter, when the cold north wind blows, and the long howling of the wolves is heard amongst the snows, when round the lonely cottage roars loud the tempest din, and the good logs of Worcestershire roar louder yet within. When the oldest cask is opened, and the largest lamp is lit, when the chestnuts grow in the embers, and the kid turns on the spit, when the young and old in circle around the firebrand close, when the girls are weaving baskets and the lads are shaping bows, when the good man mends his armour and trims his helmet plume, when the good wife's shuttle merrily goes flashing through the loom, with weeping and with laughter, still is the story told, how well the Derek and I played Indians in those brave days of old.